Going to give you a lesson on multiplying special binomials. It's called special products. So when doing so, there are these three formulas. You need to have these written down in your notes. We're going to use them. So the first formula says a plus b squared equals a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So we'll explain that in a minute, but that's the first formula. The second formula, a minus b squared, a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. And again, I'll explain that. And then the third one, the sum of the two differences, is a minus b times the quantity a plus b. Your answer will always be a squared minus b squared. This is going to come in handy when you start factoring special products or factoring. So I wanted you to know how to multiply first, because sometimes when you know how to multiply, it's easier to undo it when you're factoring. All right, so with that being said, now there are different ways to do this. We could, we could do the FOIL method, we could do the box method. I'm going to show you how to apply this formula, but I may show you the box method as well. So you can multiply x plus 4 squared by rewriting it as x plus 4, x plus 4. So then doing so, you can also use this shortcut rule. So this is, if you notice, you've got a plus b squared is the format x plus 4 squared. So I can use that formula just by squaring a, taking 2 times a times b, and then squaring b. So let's first look at the box method, and I'll show you how the formula works into that. So first, box method, you're going to multiply these two quantities, and you have them set up in your box. So the first term, outer terms, inner terms, last terms. So basically you're taking your x times your x, which is x squared in your box here, your x times 4, and your x times 4, and your 4 times 4. Okay, so those are the terms. FOIL method, here's your box method. This is your final answer by combining those two like terms. So solving that is how you do it. But let's do that same thing, but let's apply this formula. So here's my formula written out. 2a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So a is the first term, b is the second term. So in this case, the first term is x, right? I've got x, that's in my a position, right? In this formula, a plus b squared, x plus 4 squared, a would be my x. My b would be my second term, b, or in this case 4. So plug it into the formula. Here's my formula. I'm going to plug in my x for my a and my 4 for my b. So doing so, I have x squared, there's my a squared, so x squared, plus that 2 is a constant, that stays there. What is my a? My a is my x times 4, which is my b, plus my b is 4. So I'll stop doing the light thing and see if you can understand that better. And when you multiply that out, x squared plus 8x plus 16. So it's simple enough for me because I've did this over and over again, but plugging it in the formula is going to help you do this. So look at this example here. I've got 3x plus 2y squared. Well, what is in your a position? Hopefully you can say 3x. And in the b position in the formula is your 2y. So now you plug it in. What's your a is your 3x, so you take 3x squared, it should be a squared, sorry, plus 2 times 3x times 2y plus 2y squared. Those did not, when I transposed this, those did not work at exponents, so bear with me here. That's a squared, that's a squared. And simplify. Remember, when you're squaring, you have to take each element inside, so 3 squared is 9, x squared is x squared, plus 2 times 3 times 2, 12 times xy, plus 2 squared is 4, y squared is y squared. Okay, moving right along, what do you think this answer will be if you take this term and square it? And then take 2a times 3, what you get? Hopefully you got 6a, and multiply that by your constant 2. And then take your last term and square it. Did you get 4a squared plus 12a plus 9. All right, let's look and see. The only difference of this formula is there's a minus here. So notice your last term is always going to be a plus because two negatives make a positive. But if it's a minus in the squared system, it's going to be a minus here. So we're going to use the formula. Your a is your x, so there's your x again. Your b is your 5, and plug it in. So you get x squared minus 10x plus 25. What about this next one? Use your formula. A is your 4x squared minus 2 times your a times your y plus your y squared, and simplify. 16x squared minus 8xy plus y squared. Okay, so moving right along, let's check this. What do you think this answer will be? I'll give you a second, or pause the video if you want to try to get it. Notice we're going to have 3 terms. You're always going to have 3 terms when you square a binomial like this. Alright, so hopefully you got answer choice 2. So this is the last formula we're going to use, and this I'm going to show you the reason behind it. So using FOIL and the box method, the first terms, x times x is x squared. The outer terms would be 3x. The inner terms would be negative 3x. And the last terms is a positive 9, or excuse me, a negative 9. So combine your 3x plus your negative 3x, and what happens? They cancel out. So this is the formula. When you multiply the same a and the same b, so you have x and an x, a 3 and a 3, but opposite signs, the middle term will always cancel out. So you're always going to have an x squared minus 9. So let's try this one. Well, I think this is our same answer, but 3x, x minus 3 times x plus 3. Your formula is just a squared minus b squared if you have this situation. So x squared minus 3 squared is x squared minus 9. That's it. That's the easiest one to recognize, but you have to realize you're going to have 2 binomials here, not one binomial squared. So when you have 2 binomials, the same a, the same b, different signs, you're always going to have a y squared minus 4, in this case an a squared minus b squared. So try this one. Square your a, 5a squared, square your b, 36b squared, put a minus in between it. So 25a squared minus 36b squared. So looking at this one, what do you think it'll be? Notice you're going to have 2 terms, so you got it? Hopefully you said minus. This will always be a minus. This always has to be a minus and a plus. This will always be a minus. If those conditions are not met, it will not work.